in a short period of time, or I should say what we hope will be a very short period of time, people who live here in Granbury, they're going to drive down Pirate Drive over here to the west, or maybe they'll drive down Pearl Street here to the north, and they'll see a construction fence around the perimeter of a big portion of this building. Now, some immediate reactions as they're driving by is, that disrupts my parking for home football games for Granbury High School, or it disrupts me picking up my student from Granbury High School in the afternoons. But once they get over such disruptions, I'm curious, what will our neighbors say about us? When the construction fence goes up, when the equipment arrives, when demolition begins, what will they say about us? It might be pretty generic. They might just say, oh, how nice. They have a building project going on. How nice. But you know what I hope our neighbors say about us? What I hope they say is they see this construction fence. Oh, I know people who worship over there at the Granbury Church of Christ there on Pearl Street. I know some people there, and I'm convinced they are real Christians. In fact, I'm of a mind that they are on fire for the Lord. Wouldn't that be a great thing for our neighbors to say as they drive down Pirate or drive down Pearl Street? I really hope the faculty members at Granbury High School are saying, I'm so thankful they're building that as a church that has invested in the hearts of our students, all of our students. Or they might say, that's the church that has the food pantry in that building next door, and they treat people with dignity and respect when they have such needs. Our police officers might say, that's a church that serves the servant. And by the way, they are saying that, so I can affirm that. That's exactly what they're saying. A foster parent might say, I have a child who attended Royal Family Kids Camp last June, and those people that run that camp, I believe they worship there at that church on the corner of Pirate Drive and Pearl Street. What I really hope people will say, though, is they're building. There must be good things happening over there. I think when they finish, I'm going to go check them out and see what's going on, since obviously construction is going on and it's exciting. I think we really need to be honest with ourselves and think the opposite too. So I have a second list. Here's what I hope people will not say about us when the construction fence goes up. I really hope no one says, well, I don't know why they are building. It's a potential response, is it not? Another potential response would be, well, I really don't know much about them, but they seem to kind of stay to themselves. Don't really want to hear that either. Or they might say, what are they building over there? That's a church over there? I never had any idea that's a church. Actually, I've had that conversation. People have asked me, this is what, you meet somebody in the community, they'll say, oh, where is your church? And I'll say, directly across from the high school. And I've actually had people say, oh, that's a church over there? I didn't know that. And it's embarrassing to me to think we're sitting here at a pretty prominent location and they don't know it's a church. I hope that no one says, oh, I visited there one time. They sure seem kind of cold to me. And that's their response to our construction. And perhaps the worst thing that someone could say would be, I've never been overly impressed with that bunch over there at the Church of Christ. They seem to me to be just lukewarm. I've titled today's sermon, "This is not a time to be lukewarm." This by no means is a time to be lukewarm. When this structure, right where we're sitting at this very moment, when this structure comes down, a 50-plus year chapter in the life of this church will come to an end, and a new chapter will begin. My encouragement to us this morning as we anticipate these events occurring, let's not begin that new chapter in a lukewarm state. Not a time to be lukewarm. Again, what I really hope people will say is, there's some folks over there, those people there that have construction going on, they are on fire for the Lord. I want to read a text from Revelation chapter 3. For some of you, it'll be a familiar passage. For some of you, it's not. It is a part of the 7 churches that are addressed in John's revelation, the revelation he received from God. And in Revelation chapter 3, verse 14, a prominent city in Asia Minor known as Laodicea is addressed. And I'm not going to read the whole section, but I'm going to read a very important section as to what was said in John's revelation to the church at Laodicea. Chapter 3, verse 14, "To the angel of the church in Laodicea write, these are the words of the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the ruler of God's creation. I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. You say, I am rich, I have acquired wealth and do not need a thing, but you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. I counsel you to buy me gold refined in fire so that you can become rich, and white clothes to wear so you can cover your shameful nakedness, and salve to put on your eyes so you can see." I want to give you just a little bit of background information, a little historical background information on Laodicea. I think you'll find it compelling. William Barclay did extensive research on Laodicea, and here's what he says. If you lived in Laodicea in the latter part of the first century, your life might have been pretty good. It was a prosperous financial center. It was one of the wealthiest cities of the ancient world. It was a place where medical doctors of that period were trained, and Laodicea was known for the clothing it produced from Laodicean wool. The Roman emperor offered funds to help them build after an earthquake in AD 60, but they refused. They didn't need the funds. Laodicea lacked its own water supply, and so they had to pipe in water, pretty sophisticated for that time of the century. By the time the water got to them, it was lukewarm. So he goes on to say, the tragedy of Laodicea was that it was convinced of its own wealth and blind to its own poverty. Humanly speaking and judging by human standards, anyone would say that there was not a more prosperous city in Asia Minor, spiritually speaking. And judging by divine standards, the risen Christ declares there was not a more poverty-stricken community than Laodicea. And so perhaps an appropriate summary would be Laodicea, the city that was far too prosperous to perceive any real need for God in their lives. It appears that there was just this overall attitude of indifference. You are lukewarm. You're neither hot nor cold. You're lukewarm. And so I thought, what are some descriptive words? What are some synonyms? What are some terms that convey this whole mindset of being lukewarm? And I thought of the word detached. Oh, I'm a Christian. I'm a part of the church, but I'm detached. Not fully committed, not fully engaged. I'm detached and even aloof. I think of the term neutral. If a country's neutral in a war, if they're practicing neutrality, it means they don't want to choose a side. I don't want to choose this side. I don't want to choose that side. And so I'm going to choose to be neutral. And so by being lukewarm, I'm just kind of neutral. I really don't want to commit to this side. I want to commit to that. I'm not fully in. I'm not totally there. The term apathetic seems fitting as well in terms of being lukewarm, just kind of apathetic. Easy come, easy go. And I think of the word unmoved. Matt led some songs this morning that moved me profoundly. Makes it hard to preach. Thanks a lot. Wow, can you still be moved, or you just have this sense about you? I'm just unmoved. I'm here. I'm parked in my place, but I remain unmoved. And finally, I think of the word complacent. Over time, I'm not hot anymore. I'm not really cold. I'm just kind of complacent. What does lukewarm feel like? Maybe lukewarm feels like being untouchable. And I think of the song that we sometimes sing, my eyes are dry, my faith is old, my heart is hard. Untouchable. Unwilling to be convicted, unable to hear the very voice of God. A little bit later, same chapter in Revelation chapter 3, verse 20, a little bit later, he says, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him and he with me." Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. He is knocking on the very doors of our hearts. And as he knocks, are we on the other side, detached and neutral and apathetic because we are so lukewarm? Think one more time about verse 17. You say, I'm rich, I've acquired wealth, do not need a thing, but you do not realize you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Craig Keener's done some work on Revelation, and this is a quote from him. He says, Jesus is inviting the Laodicean Christians to realize they have shut him out of their lives with their own self-sufficiency. They've shut him out of their lives. And as he knocks on the door, they're not really receptive to opening because they've shut him out of their lives with their own self-sufficiency. They're just going through the motions. And so therefore, in verse 15, he says, I know your deeds. I know that you're neither cold nor hot. I wish you were one or the other. I don't know where you are, but this is my response. Every time I read this passage, I always sort of shake in my boots and think, I do not want to go through life in a lukewarm state. How about you? I do not, under any circumstances, want to go through life in a lukewarm state. So the implication of it is, that means we're going to have to understand what it means to be on fire. We're going to have to understand what it means to be hot. That's a little scary. And that means we're going to have to get over ourselves. And we're going to have to open our hearts as well as our minds. Is your heart open to him, not just your head? Is your heart fully open to him? Which means we must be vulnerable. Think of verse 19. Those whom I love, I rebuke and discipline. So be earnest and repent. Here I am, I stand in the door and knock. What's a fitting invitation today? What's a fitting invitation from this text? I asked myself that question all week long. So I think back to the title. This is not a time to be lukewarm. As we prepare to close one chapter and to begin a new chapter in the life of the Granbury Church of Christ, this is not a time to be lukewarm. But if the truth be known, there's never a time to be lukewarm, is there? There's never a good time to be lukewarm. But what I would like to encourage each of us to do during this important onset of a new chapter in the life of the church, this is a time for each of us to do some serious, meaningful self-examination. Where am I? What am I contributing? In terms of serving in the kingdom of God, where God reigns, what am I up to? Could I be described as indifferent or complacent or lukewarm? Where am I? It's a time to do some self-examination. And as we watch this building come down, I'm going to think about what's going to be resurrected in its place, symbolically speaking. So therefore, the invitation that I would extend this morning is, where are you today? Are you on the fence about even making a commitment to be a Christian? I would urge you to get off that lukewarm fence and confess the lordship of Jesus, and we'd be eager to baptize you today. We're probably coming down to the wire, a number of baptisms we can do in this baptistry back here. Let's enjoy it while we can. What other commitments need to be made in your life? What does self-examination look like for you? Let's stand and sing our invitation song enthusiastically.